Hi, I'm Chef Rick Moonen. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about knives, okay? You know, every kitchen needs a great set of knives. And why a set? Because knives have a design and a function and a purpose. And so it's important that first you select a set of knives that have great design. Messerstahl knives are designed beautifully. That's why they're my favorite brand. Let me start off with the basics, how to properly hold a knife. Okay, this is one of my favorite knives, and it's my go-to knife. It's my 8-inch chef's knife. And the beautiful thing about this knife, first of all, is that it's well balanced. It's light. It doesn't fatigue in your arm. You can use it for extended periods of time. It's why it's my go-to knife as a professional. So, first of all, how you hold the knife is very, very important. With your knife on the cutting board, first thing I want you to notice is that the tip does not touch the cutting board. There's a reason for that. But how do you hold the blade? You have your thumb on one side and your index finger on the other. And you take your three other fingers down the blade, down the handle, and it holds on to this really, really cool surface here. It's just a non-slip surface. Even when it gets wet or gets a little bit of oil on it, it remains intact in your hand. You feel as though you're in control of your knife. And with your thumb here and your knuckle here, you've got complete control because the sharpness of the blade is touching the cutting board and you can't rock that knife. Now, if you put your finger on top, there's no way, it doesn't matter how strong you think your fingers are, it's gonna rock back and forth and you do not have control of that knife anymore. So once again, in review, thumb, knuckle, and here we go. Now with this 8-inch chef's knife, I'm gonna show you how to dice a potato. Okay, potato in hand. What I like to do is stop rocking. It's one of the themes of control of your knives is to control the rocking of anything. The knife you already have because you know how to hold it. So you take just a little piece of it off, like that, and now you've got a pedestal. The knife is going to stay firmly in place. You've got control of your knife. It depends how thick you want to do a dice. We're going to do a basic dice. So we're going to take just a little piece off the edge again, with the sharpness of that blade. You see a slice sideways? It's the motion of a blade that makes the cleanest cut. Not necessarily the sharpness of the knife, but the two things together. It's the movement of the blade. So as you go down, you slide, and then you have yourself, I'd say that's a 1/2-inch cut. So we're going to make French fries, and then we'll cut them into dice. Okay, so the first thing you do is just slice your knife down, tip down first, slide it down. Then we want to square it off so that we can make dice. So slide down. You see this knife? Goes down. Not push. That's a different kind of slice, and you do that as well. But when you're trying to make a clean dice, you start off, slice down, slice down, slice down. Tip hits first, slide down. It is so easy. I'm showing it to you, but I want to tell you how it slices straight through with such ease. I hardly need to really grip it with an iron grip. And you've got perfect diced potatoes. And these little indentations that you see on the side of that blade, that is great when you're working with a vegetable that has a lot of starch, like a potato, that tends to stick to your knife when you're sliding through it. You know, how every time you slice down, it sticks and it's almost like a suction cup to it. Well, these little grooves in here is a design that helps to relieve that and release it so that it's a lot easier for you to control your knife and stay focused on your cuts. Next, I'd like to show you how to shape a potato or shape a vegetable. Okay, so there's many different ways to do it, but these two knives are your go-to knives for shaping vegetables. It's a 3.5-inch paring knife and our 4.5-inch utility knife. These are beautiful for shaping potatoes or vegetables. So, potato in hand, we just need like a chunk of potato, right, like that. And I want to shape this potato. So I'm going to take my smaller paring knife and just kind of give it a basic shape that I wanted to start with. And then I'm going to take it and hold it like 3 fingers down here. My index finger is kind of on the back of it and my thumb is controlling the blade. So now, if you can see it like this, I'm going to be shaping my vegetable by just kind of drawing it towards me and bringing it down. Drawing it towards me and bringing it down. Drawing it towards me and bringing it down. So you see this is a tournade. It's a fancy word, tourner, to turn, is really what it means in French, potato. So that's a shaped potato, like that. So you can do this throughout, and then make a couple of them, take a look at that, oh, I'm gonna make 2 out of that, or 1 out of that. You just kind of play around with it. This is my, again, utility knife. It's cool for the actual shaping of the primary shaping. Secondary, fining of it, use your small little paring knife. Tourner, around. And it's just sliding through there with so much ease. I'm just drawing this knife towards me, just kind of like this action. Starting here, bringing it down. And you too can shape a potato just like a professional. And these are just pretty. That's all it is. And all this stuff here, all these scraps, boil them up, make some mashed potatoes, and you've used 100% of your potato. Great knives. One of the most common cuts in a kitchen is a slice. You want to slice things. So you have your soft tomato, but you want a very sharp knife to do that. And I'm going to do a zucchini. I'm going to show you the functionality of 2 separate knives that we have in our Messerstahl collection. First of all, I'm going to use our 8-inch chef's knife to just slice through some zucchini. All right, so you take off the first piece, and now I'm going to slice it, into like a medley of vegetables. So just holding your fingers kind of like a claw. You utilize that knuckle here. You put your knuckle up against the edge, the upper edge, where it says Messerstahl. That's where your knuckle goes. And as you slice down, you just use your knuckle, and you slice down and you move along. And you're holding your knife again with your thumb on one side and your index finger on the other side. You just kind of, and you watch things just fly all over the place, right? And look, you got all uniform, same shape, same thickness, zucchini with a really sharp 8-inch Messerstahl French knife. Put that down. Now let's slice some tomatoes. Now you could use the same knife and go through it like that, real simple. Notice I go down and I'm sliding as I'm doing it. But also, our 9-inch carving knife is just absolutely outstanding for doing this. And I usually draw this towards me. Again, holding it the same way as I would a French knife. Thumb here, knuckle here, just coming down. I mean, you could do razor thin cuts like that. You could slice it this way. As soon as you feel it catch that edge, you know you got a winner going there. So it slices right through it. And those are great for these are great size for your hamburgers. These are thin ones you can use as garnishes. You can make them you can make it look like a carpaccio of tomato. But the Messerstahl knife makes it so much easier because of its great design, its lightness, and its edge. Now that we have some of the basic cuts out of the way, let me show you some finer cuts, like a Julienne or Brunoise. These are French terminology for different cuts of vegetables. So let me show you the Julienne cut. This is my go-to knife, my 8-inch French knife. I take off the edge just because it's just a discard. And Julienne. So we want to get the length of the Julienne to about 2.5 inches, I'm guessing. That's about right. Put that off to the side. And again, we have a rolling vegetable here. So what do we do with rolling vegetables? We take just a little piece off the edge, so that now it's got a pedestal. It doesn't roll anymore. You can push it around. I like to push around vegetables. All right, so holding your knife firmly, thumb on one side, knuckle on the other, tip down first, cut down, right? Now slice thinly. So that's a thin slice. I'd say 1/4 inch slice of the carrot. And again, we cut it down again. Like that. We line them up. We cut them into matchstick sizes. And that, my friends, we call matchsticks, but it's also known as a Julienne cut. You see the thin slices like that? Simple. Tip down first, sliding the knife. That's when you get the cleanest cuts. And that's what this knife is designed to do. It's got a rocking, a sweeping motion, so you can slide it down. And that sliding motion is what gives you the cleanest, most accurate cuts. So this is all about fine dicing or fine julienning, etc. That is a perfect lineup of julienne carrots. So now you've got your the pile of julienne. What a perfect opportunity to show you how to make another cut called a brunoise, B-R-U-N-O-I-S-E. Using my favorite 8-inch Messerstahl French knife, all I need to do is turn my julienne, what is that, 90 degrees? I think it's 90 degrees. You turn it to the side. Bring them into a little pile like that. And again, same exact rocking motion. Tip of the knife down, sliding along, holding. Now I'm holding, these two fingers are kind of keeping the bunch together, and this is the knuckle that my blade slides along. We just need to slide it down. You've got yourself a super fine dice, perfect for salads, for making a tartare, garnish in a clear soup, like a chicken soup or something. You want to put some brunoise, carrots and celery in there. This is how you do it. Super simple, so easy. It's all about design, it's all about quality, it's all about Messerstahl. So the next procedure I'd like to show you is how to make a chiffonade. These are terms that you read in recipes all the time, and it's really not that difficult, especially if you have the right tools. So again, I'm reaching for my favorite knife, my 8-inch French knife, Messerstahl, beautiful steel. And a chiffonade is just a thin slice of a leafy vegetable, usually. I'm just going to show you basil. So pinch the leaves off of a basil plant, or just line your, what you're going to do is you're going to stack the leaves of whatever it is. If it's parsley, cilantro, lettuce, basil, doesn't matter. It's all about stacking of the leaves. So I'm just going to kind of prune my live basil plant, put that to the side, and just start to stack stem to stem my basil leaves. And then once we have them all stacked like this, we'd start to roll them. Just roll the stem part in first. You roll it upon itself till you have just like a little cigar of the leaf that you want to chiffonade. Holding it with your finger shut, gripping your knife correctly, slide down, and I'm riding along here. This is so much fun for a chef to do. They love to make chiffonade. And there you go. You've got tiny little perfect shreds of, this time, basil, but you can do any leaf like that with your Messerstahl 8-inch French knife. I want to introduce you now to one of my favorite knives as well. I've kind of neglected it, but this is absolutely a go-to knife for me as well. It's our Asian cleaver. The Messerstahl Asian cleaver is a little heavier, a little taller, and it's actually a fun knife to work with. I'm going to show you how to make a bias cut. Normally, it could be a carrot, it could be any vegetable you want. This beautiful cleaver also has a slight, if you notice, if you put it straight down, it also has a nice rocking curve to it that works to your advantage when you're trying to make precise cuts. So we're just going to clean the edges off of our scallion here. I'm only going to do it up to this point. Now, you want to do it. So bias, of course, is going to be on an angle. So you're going to hold your knife on the angle. Still keeping your thumb on one side, controlling the knife by having your index finger on the other. And let's just do a single one at first. With your knuckles like this, sliding along. You just slowly work your fingers up the scallion while you rock everything. The table, the scallion. This is the best time to have some great music playing. And there you go. Perfect little bias cuts of any vegetable you want with your Asian cleaver by Messerstahl. Okay, we've gone through some finesse, Julienne, Brunoise, chiffonade. Now I want to show you a little about tough cuts. All right, I'm going to tackle an acorn squash. It's a pretty durable exterior on there, and you're gonna need a sharp knife, and you gotta outsmart the vegetable. So if I want to cut this in half, first I want to take an edge off, so then I just start to embed my knife in there, roll the blade, roll the vegetable, not the blade, excuse me. So you put it in. Again, you'll notice I still have the claw on my left hand to guide the blade, keeping my thumb and my index finger, because that's how you control a knife. I'm not pushing very hard, it's just finding its way through. It almost went through on its own, which is absolutely a blessing when you got a good knife. Now it depends what you want to do with it. If you want to cut it in half down the middle to remove the seeds, just put it in, tip down. Once you've got your tip touching the cutting board, it's not going to slip. And you've got control because you got your thumb and your index finger here. So then you just have to slide down. It falls almost automatically apart. And that's all about design and quality. One of the most common used ingredients in any kitchen is garlic. I personally love garlic, but let's face it, garlic's a pain in the neck. You have to peel it. Okay, once you've peeled a clove of garlic, the best way to mince it is using my Asian cleaver. Why? Because it's got such a beautiful flat surface. You can place it right over your clove of garlic and just smash it down, peel away. And you'll notice that it's just almost fans it out like a deck of cards. Push it back together using this rocking motion that it's perfectly designed to do. Slide right through it. And that, folks, is a perfectly minced piece of garlic. So after using your knife for several hours, what happens naturally is the edge starts to get a little wobbly, and you need to true the edge. So if you look at an edge microscopically, it's like this, and every so often then the edge kind of like starts to waver a little bit. That is natural with any quality blade. So I'm going to show you how to use our 10-inch sharpening steel utilizing my 8-inch French knife. Holding, this is the guard, keeping your thumb and your index finger behind the guard, holding your knife down at that, try to get the edge at the shape of the knife. So you want that angle. And then starting at the heel and bringing it down. Again, on the other side, same thing like that. Bringing it down. That trues the edge. It brings all the waviness back into line. I'm not pushing hard. It's a very light brushing on the sides of this beautiful 10-inch steel. Will true your knife and bring your knife back to an incredible sharpness that you want to work with every single day.